What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 23, Jordan year of X and O's Evan and Bros. I'm your most gracious host, Evan. Joining me through Zoom, Mr. Broderick O'Linn. And Mr. Eldad Sailor. There was an idea that we could bring together a group of remarkable individuals. This is the idea. This is where that idea stemmed from. Quick, Broderick, what's that quote from? Okay.
I'll be honest. I can't hear anything you're saying.
I'm going to be honest. I thought you were frozen this entire time. So I guess we're even. We're good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
but the only person that's on my screen that's actually fine is Eldad. You're frozen and going in and out. And I just see Eldad's face.
It's definitely my internet connection. I know that for a fact. So we'll see how the show goes. We'll try it. If y'all don't respond back to me, I'm just going to answer my own question, I guess. All right. So we got a big day of sports. We've been out for about the whole weekend. Happy Labor Day. We're shooting this on Monday. And so we got a lot of stuff to get back to. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. College football is back officially, especially this weekend coming up. The NBA playoffs are still underway. We had a couple of sweeps that were unavoided. So, hey, let's get this show started.
X's and O's.
That's what I'm talking about.
With Evan and Bros.
Evan and Bros.
Yeah.
These are my bros.
Okay, it's X's and O's with Evan and Bros. Of course, it's a talk show, man, talking about sports. The one and only Evan Miller.
That's
yeah,
me.
That's your host doing analyzing with the side of jokes. Hey, X's and O's with Evan and Bros. X's and O's with Evan and Bros. X's and O's with Evan and Bros. Hey, analyzing with the side of jokes.
Never gets old. Never gets old. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it back all the way to Friday. Okay? That's our starting point. We're going to start with the NBA. A little NBA talk. And, I think it's fun to start this game because this was game one of the Rockets-Lakers series. And this is game two of Heat Bucks. Either game two or game three. Because it would have played Sunday. It's game two, I think. Oh, no, it's game three. It is game three.
No, if it was Friday, it was game three.
Yeah.
Game three.
Yeah, game three. So, Bucks are down. We'll start with the Bucks Heat. Bucks were down 2-0 at this point. It was not looking good. People are the murmurs have started. This is where it's like Giannis, is really just planning on jumping ship. He's going to the Heat next year. This is really just a bidding war between Bucks and Heat. I think that's just a bunch of Heat crap that's being put out. Obviously because they're in the series right now. So I don't know what merit that really holds. And also, I don't know about y'all, but the Heat, and now Dragic's contract's going to be up. But they're also going to have to pay Hero. They're also going to have to play Duncan Robinson.
Hero's a rookie. He's got 3 months.
I know Hero's still got a while now. I'm not saying he doesn't. But I'm saying they are going to have to pay these guys down the line. If they want to keep them. Now, they might not want to keep them. But I feel like the whole point of this Heat system, how it works so well, is because you have Jimmy, who's a good facilitator, good leader, but he's able to hit to these shooters. The Heat are knocking down threes at an incredible rate. And it's because of guys like Hero and guys like Duncan Robinson. So if you go out and get a guy who's proven that his half-court offense is not what it needs to be, this is a problem why Ben Simmons has a similar issue where in transition, they're monsters. You get them going downhill, Giannis throws that spin move and he just reaches his arm and literally just drops it into the basket. Unstoppable. But spacing's an issue. Their teams have to be precisely constructed for their styles of play. So, Heat go up. They win this game. They won this game 100 to 115. Now, I think that's a little, and I watched this game, so I think that's a little double-digit wins kind of. It was close.
It was closer than it would appear.
It's closer than it would appear.
Closer than the final score.
Yeah, and a lot of these games have been close. I don't think a lot of these games have been. Now Jimmy Butler's taken over. I think this game he had like 13 in the fourth quarter. It's been insane what he's doing in the fourth quarter. So let me hear y'all's thoughts. Heat went up this game 3-0. We know now that the Bucks did avoid the sweep. I think this is the game Giannis hurt his ankle in his original, I think his left ankle. And then I think he hurt.
It was his right.
Well, yeah, but he hurt his other ankle. In
game 3, it was his right.
Okay, so then he hurt his right ankle in game 3. Played game 4, hurt his left ankle in game 4. So let me hear y'all's thoughts on this series entirely. Okay, let's just talk about all of it. Bucks, Heat, what do we think so far? And what do you think is going to happen the next? Do we go? I mean, do we even reach a game 6? Or do you think Chris is really just vibing for that? Giannis, I'm really good. I'm really good star B, but you're my star A. I need you for the next 4 years. What do we think?
Well, me and Evan did our picks off air this time just because we haven't had a show in a week. But I had I had Heat in 6. You had Bucks in 6. I think the Bucks may win one more game. But I mean, this half court offense just looks terrible. That's why the Heat are winning, because when in the playoffs the game slows down. You get more ISO ball. You get tighter on defensive rotations and defensive call-outs. So that's why you see these games teams struggle when it comes to half-court offense. There's less transition. So this is perfect for the Heat because they've got bigs and defenders that can switch. So Giannis, it goes from Jimmy to Bam to Jay to Derrick Jones Jr. You've got all these defenders that are either long or strong. So in the half-court offense, Giannis doesn't have that easy drive to the rim.
Yeah, and they don't even have Kelly Olynyk back, right? And Kelly Olynyk's their floor spacer. Yeah. It's not even, it's just another guy that provides size. You have Leonard out there. Can I just say, Leonard got the darkest tan I've ever seen a guy go from being in Portland to Miami in a matter of 1 year, or literally.
That's what happens when you go from very,
I guess,
northwest to very southeast.
He's loving.
You go from like the most north point to the most southern point.
Dude, he's loving South Beach. This dude, that was solely a social decision. Keep going.
But that's why you see like they're close games, and the Heat just pull away because they've got the offense that can really score in the half court and to get things going. And they've got the Bucks' biggest weakness is 3-point shooting, and the Miami Heat have plenty of it. You've had Duncan Robinson step up, Jimmy who goes from shooting 20-something% to lights out in the fourth. Tyler Hero's hitting the fourth. Jay Crowder's hit some big shots. Bam Adebayo has pulled in clutch. You've got all these players just playing well and that can score the ball in the fourth. And when you look at the Bucks, they're turning the ball over. Middleton can't score besides game 4, but this.
Well, no, I think Middleton's actually played very well this series.
And they can't get much 3-point shooting.
Yeah, I think it's the players that outside of Chris,
he needs to be better. This he's not getting paid all this money to be playing like a third or fourth tier star. He needs to be that 1B.
I can guarantee you the Lakers would love to have him as their third or fourth star if he's playing like this. But I agree. I think the guys like DiVincenzo, I think Eric Bledsoe, Wesley Matthews, all of those guys need to step up.
But he's the second on Milwaukee. He can't. Middleton's a great player, but he can't be a second star.
I'm going to pose a question after Eldad's take. I'll pose a question. Go, Eldad. Eldad. You here, buddy? All right. Well, he looks like he's not here. Broderick, you still here with me? All right, good stuff. All right. So, can you hear me, Eldad?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
I can hear Eldad. Evan, you've been like silent for like a minute.
Yeah, I've been completely unable to hear you, Evan.
Wait, did you hear anything Broderick said though?
It's a no.
That's a no? Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to keep going. Can you hear me now? All right.
No, you keep cutting in and out.
Okay. Give me your take
In and out.
on the Heat Bucks. Give me your take.
Okay. Well, game 3 was just, I thought Milwaukee came out really well in that game. They were up 12 going into the 4th, and then I feel like Bud just strikes again where their offense just gets really stupid. Oh,
No, keep going. Don't stop.
Okay, you texted me, but I thought game 3 was basically, I mean, if the Bucks win game 3, I think they still take the series, but blowing that lead, and then they only won game 4 because Giannis came out and like set the tone, like scoring 19 of like their first 29 before he got hurt, and then they basically just won it for him. But I mean, what Broderick said, the problem with the Heat was that they do have a lot of great shooters, but their 2 primary guys are awful shooters between Jimmy and Bam. But if Jimmy's hitting at like a 60% clip from 3 now, it really,
But
I mean, you got to respect it now.
that's the thing, though. For some reason, and it's not even like this half-court offense has been there. Now, there has been really good possessions where I'm like, this is fluid, this is nice, this is clean. I'm not saying there hasn't been. But Jimmy has hit some shots that I've never seen Jimmy Butler hit in the 4th quarter. Like, the dude he's on a different planet right now. That some shots just wouldn't, like LeBron's not making some of these shots. Kevin Durant's not making some of these shots that Jimmy Butler's taking.
Personal.
Huh?
He took it personal. People were disrespecting him, so he's like, all right, I'm going to come out and I'm going to beat the number 1 seed.
I don't know who's disrespected him. It might be his home life. That's why he told him to stay back and say this is a business trip. I don't know. But continue.
No, like all the media is counting out the Heat all year long.
I mean, who knows? I don't know.
I'm still counting them out.
I mean, I don't know. It's just weird because this team.
That's the reason why Jimmy Butler's going off.
Well, think about it, right? This team is constructed a lot of really good players. Like a lot of players that could be in and out of starting lineups or role players that contribute to most NBA teams, all NBA teams, I think. But I can't tell you what, Andre Iguodala's shot's disgusting looking. He made a 3 the other day, and I was like, that shot has no business ever going in. But they have a lot of players that are really good, but they just mesh well. They just like each other, you know? And I think Goran Dragic has been huge. I don't know.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's been incredible. And so I don't know, and nobody's talking about it, but he's been consistently amazing. And so I don't know, and Kendrick Nunn has been booty. I think he's shooting around 18% from 3, 20% from the field. This dude has been trash. But so even if Goran Dragic's contract goes up, do you try to keep him in Miami? Like,
It depends on what he's asking for.
If he's cheap, yeah.
but like he's been so,
Because he's so key to this playoff run.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you sacrifice this style that you had to go get a guy like Giannis who can't play half court? Like, what do you do?
Well, that's why I feel like the Heat don't really have a clear direction for free agency, because I don't think Oladipo or Giannis would fit their team. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You can't have Giannis. You can't have Giannis have the ball with Jimmy and Bam like trying to space the floor.
Well, that isn't Jimmy Butler. Jimmy's better, but Jimmy and Victor are basically the same player. Jimmy's better, but like they're both not like stellar shooters. You know, they both are ball dominant.
Yeah, like at best league average shooters.
Jimmy's not necessarily ball dominant.
He's not aggressive, but he's more to get his shot to score. He's a ball dominant player. He's not a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah, but calling him ball dominant, I still think is kind of heavy, just because there's so many times we see him just not be aggressive and try to score, just because the players around him are shooting the ball well.
I tell you what, in reality, he kind of plays like LeBron, like that mentality. Like, I can get mine later. He doesn't need to get his right away.
Yeah, but he's still not always like LeBron. It feels like he always has the ball. Now that he has AD, it's a little different. But LeBron, I feel like for most of his career, he's always had the ball. He's always the one creating and initiating the offense. Jimmy isn't like that. He's got Goran Dragic who can take the load off them. Jimmy's not all the time like pressing or trying to attack.
All right, Broderick, answer the question. Do you think Giannis and Victor Oladipo would fit good with Jimmy Butler?
No.
Okay, but then we're all in agreement. All right. But this is the question I want to ask, and then we're going to move on to the Lakers series.
Evan, I have no idea what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
I haven't been able to really hear you. You've just been in and out for the past like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Because I may have been talking. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
But I just feel like me and Eldad have been talking over you for like 5 minutes and vice versa.
You haven't. You haven't. It's been fine. Trust me. All right. So I'm going to pose this. If there's a way that the Bucks can get Bradley Beal, does that fix their problems? And so you have Chris, Bradley Beal, and Giannis? I'll go to Broderick first.
You have to get rid of Chris.
Oh, you just have to get rid of Chris?
Yeah, well, I discussed a trade earlier where Warriors traded their pick to the Wizards. Wizards trade Beal to the Bucks. Bucks trade Middleton to the Warriors. I think this helps all teams. Beal's a better player than Middleton. We don't know necessarily how he is in the playoffs, but he's someone who can create his own shot. So if Giannis is off the floor, the offense won't be as stagnant and maybe help in the fourth quarter when it comes to half-court offense. And, I mean, Bucks are losing Giannis if they don't win next year. So it's either they got to trade Giannis and prepare for the future or go an all-in type season to try to win a championship. Because it's championship or bust this year and next year. Anything else, it's a failure. So I feel like they have to make a move. Beal makes a lot of sense. Maybe try to go get Chris Paul. They've got to do something. Right now, in my opinion, they got to fire Bud because Bud refuses to make any adjustments in the playoffs. He's still playing, like, in that game 3, Brook Lopez played the most minutes. That makes no sense. Giannis and Chris should be playing the most minutes. I think fire Bud and try to get another star. Maybe try to keep Middleton, but I don't see how that's happening because it's obvious their GM and their management doesn't assess players well because they let Malcolm Brogdon walk, and he should not have. Malcolm Brogdon would have done great in this series with his 40, 50, 90 clip.
Yes. I'm with you there. Eldad.
Well, Brogdon would have never re-signed though because he called like Milwaukee. He's called like Milwaukee the most segregated city in America about 6 times now. So they could have thrown however much money. He was like, "I will come back if I have nowhere else to go."
Well, I think he was restricted, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So they chose not to
they
match
should've kept-
Indiana.
They should have kept him.
yeah, but how many times can you keep a guy if he's like, "The city sucks and everything
Well,
here
he
sucks"?
said he would come back if they wanted him, and it's
There were like no options.
no. I think he said he would come back if they wanted him.
All right. Give me your point, Eldad.
I do like the Beal trade. I don't know if trading Middleton then solves any problems. I kind of feel like trading Bledsoe and trying to get. I know the CP3 trade has kind of been floated out there a lot. I feel like having him run the offense more so would be way more favorable, especially for like Giannis. I don't really. I feel like the Bucks do ask too much of him, where he has to like. I feel like Bledsoe should be running the offense, but he can't do it for some reason. I don't know what happened to Phoenix Bledsoe, but I want that back. Those are good times.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on because we spent like 16 minutes on on the Bucks Heat series. All right, let's move on to Rockets Lakers. So Rockets won game 1. We later found out Lakers just won game 2. So what do we think so far of this series? It's going to be, Rockets came back and that's. It's funny. Me and Eldad were texting back and forth, and we're like, "All right, we're done watching. We're not watching anymore because the Lakers are up by 20. I think in the second quarter, and then Rockets stormed back, and then kept it close up until the end. And so, Eldad, what do you think about this series so far? Is this been what was your initial pick, and then do you still think it's going to hold true?
I was feeling Lakers in 6 or 7, but the thing with the Rockets is they match up really well with the Lakers. I kind of see it as a Heat Bucks kind of thing. I didn't want to pick the Heat because I hate them and their fans, but the Rockets just have so many defenders, primarily like wing defenders. The thing with the Thunder was they had so many guards that could just attack like Covington and Eric Gordon off the dribble more so. Whereas you can throw Eric Gordon at LeBron and then have Covington help off of whoever he's guarding. PJ Tucker basically can't be moved. I mean, Anthony Davis has had to hit really tough mid-range shots throughout the series. He's hit them.
Lot of post faders.
PJ Tucker.
He made a couple, and my dad was like, "No way, AD can keep making post fades all game."
No, the Rockets will live with those shots.
Yeah, you got to give
that's
it.
how AD needs to score. That's tough. But so game 1, if Westbrook, it really comes down to Westbrook. Does Westbrook play like game 1 Westbrook or game 2 Westbrook?
Does he not frustrate you so much?
Really that's why I can't pick the Rockets. It's because it's James Harden and Russell Westbrook, and I can't trust them. But game 2, Markieff Morris goes off for like 4 or 5 consecutive threes in the second quarter, and how often is that going to happen?
Yeah. He's definitely the lesser of the Morris twins.
Know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think that was Marcus playing last night based on how Marcus played in game 2 of the Clippers. I think.
Hey, Broderick, give me your thoughts on the Lakers Rockets.
You're kind of in and out. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I had Lakers in 6. I do agree with Eldad that the Rockets match up well just because the Lakers don't really have the shooting to space the floor, so they can't have players help over on Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And with the Thunder, they did have those shooters, and they did have those backcourt players that can go and attack and score the ball. So it's the Thunder really had their opportunity to win that series. They blew it, and I feel like the Lakers were probably praying for the Thunder just because Anthony Davis and LeBron James would have a field day. But with the Rockets, Robert Covington and PJ Tucker are both great defenders. PJ Tucker, like Eldad said, looks like he cannot be moved on the low block. Andy Davis is struggling with him, and LeBron is struggling with him. And Rocco, he has that like 6'5" to 6'7" frame, but he has that 7'1" wingspan. So he's very good at those passing lanes. And when you're driving, you think you have him beat, and he just is so long to get back into the play. And I can't trust this Rockets team. They have some hot and cold flashes. Like in game 2, they were down 20, then they came back in and then couldn't score the ball in the fourth. Russell Westbrook has to play better. Can't go 4 for 15. I think he just needs to attack and facilitate. No deep threes. He's never been a great 3-point shooter. If you're open, take him, but he needs to be attacking the rim and opening up the floor for everyone else. James Harden has to be scoring 30 plus a game. Role players hitting threes. But if LeBron and AD are on, I don't see how this Rockets team beats them. I think Rockets will get another game in, but I still think Lakers in 6.
Who wins game 3? Eldad.
I think the Rockets. I think Westbrook's going to
like
try and
it.
play more in control.
I like it. Well,
And
I will say his what 4, or we all said it, like 4 for 14. He was started out 1 for 5. He had some really good looks that just were not falling. So he could have started 4 for 5. Like he got inside, he was down inside the paint, and he looks so like he looks like he's almost fishing for the foul, where he's throwing the ball so hard off the backboard. Like there's no touch right now for him. His jump shots are too short and his layups are too aggressive, if that makes sense. So I don't know.
Do you think his injury is affecting him? Do you think this is the reason why he's playing this poorly?
He's still bouncing. I think he had an offensive rebound yesterday that he soar above everybody when he came across. He came from the opposite side of the court and stole it. So I don't know. I don't think his quad. Was it his quad or hammy? One of those. I don't think it's affecting him that bad. I just think he's used to being that guy, right? He has that mentality. And so he really has to take a step back. And one, I think focus all of his energy on defense and rebounds. And then 2, just instead of shooting at 14, shoot around 8 or 9. And if you're hot, then take it. Because that game 1, he hit that 3, I think, in front of Anthony Davis. It was in rhythm and drill. That was wet. And that felt like a good shot because it felt like the offense was in rhythm. They were moving. That's what he needs to do. He doesn't need to force these. You have James Harden to force these shots. You don't have to take them. James Harden, trust me, is well capable of taking these shots. Just play defense, rebound.
No idea what he's saying.
Play defense, rebound, and assist. Because we know he can do those things very well. That's all he has to do. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with X and O's with Evan and Bros. Thank you guys for being here with us.
Hey guys, take this moment to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Curbside Entertainment and Curbside Network, respectively. You can also find us on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to X's and O's with Evan and Bros. I'm your most gracious host, Evan. And joining me through Zoom is Mr. Broderick O'Linn and L. Daddy Sailor. So if you're joining us through the YouTubes and you're watching it online, you probably can tell the internet has not been the best. But the audio's been good. So remember, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that's good stuff. But the Zoom recording is going to be a little fuzzy for sure. There's going to be times where Broderick's like, and then there's times that Eldad's like, So
Me and Eldad have had literally no idea what Evan's been talking about for the past 30 minutes.
I will say though, it's
He catch
definitely
every other word at best.
It's definitely on my end. All right. So let's move on to a little NFL talk. I don't know what happened over the weekend. Maybe a Labor Day weekend's a famous weekend to get deals done in the NFL. But people were getting signed. A lot of re-signs. A lot of kind of like people in limbo getting picked up. I guess because final cuts were done. Final cuts for this weekend for the preseason into going to a 53-man roster. And then so obviously they left some space open to bring some guys in. So we were hearing about that. One notable one, we're going to go through a few. I want to hear y'all's quick takes on each one. So we'll start. It was announced that the Redskins were going to cut Adrian Peterson. I was like, okay, he'll probably resign with the team. I don't know who, but he'll probably resign. There is one team I definitely did not think he was going to sign with, and that was the Detroit Lions. So Adrian Peterson signs a one-year deal, $1.1 million, to join the Detroit Lions. Why? They have Kerryon Johnson. They just drafted DeAndre Swift in the second round. I'm sure they have, and they have Bo Scarborough, who's a beast.
He's going to be fourth string.
Maybe. I got to check if he was part of Sunday's cuts, to be honest. Why would Adrian Peterson, one, go to Detroit when the carries are going to be limited? And then, two, Detroit is either 10-6 or 6-10. So, like, there's no consistency with this franchise. And the city's ass. So, Broderick, let's go to you first. Thoughts on Adrian Peterson signing with Detroit Lions, and why would he do this?
I had the same reaction.
Right? Why?
Just on both sides.
Both sides. Why? It's why.
Like, are DeAndre Swift and Kerryon Johnson like so hurt right now? So it's something we don't know about.
That's true. That's a good point.
But unless there's something we don't know about, it's just why. Like, I feel like Adrian Peterson still wants to play, and I feel like Detroit's not the place for him to play because you've got two young backs there.
Two good young backs.
Maybe he didn't have another market that wanted him, but we don't know. I mean, this is a head scratcher in my opinion. I don't know. And
Adrian Peterson has been productive in his later years so far. It's not like he's been trash. But he has been productive. But you're right. You have two good young backs. And so you're only hurting their development if you don't play them. And this move is just puzzling. And he has room to make more with incentives. What incentives is he going to reach? Like, I get 2 carries a game.
I have no idea.
Right? Eldad.
Maybe he's not going to be a third string. I don't know.
Eldad, thoughts on this move?
Yeah, I maybe from Detroit's perspective, they're like a veteran mentor from these running backs, but I hope there's just no football aspect.
Hey, ask Adrian Peterson. Ask his son if he's a good mentor.
Stupid, and I still don't get why he signed there because I feel like he just said he wants to play like 5 more years, and I think that was for stats. So there's no stats to be gotten on the Lions.
No, it's not like he's going to be.
Maybe nobody wanted to sign him.
Maybe. It's tough because this is a former league MVP. You know, great story. Torn ACL.
Yeah, great year last year, all things considered.
Yeah, right. Being in Washington. This is just not the team I would have thought. You know what would have been an interesting one? Just because
Jaguars.
They'd be like, see, we're trying to win. We bring in a former MVP. We aren't tanking. We're not tanking. No. What if, like, I don't know, LA Rams? Like, who's really the guy there? Henderson? Akers? We don't know.
Malcolm Brown.
Malcolm Brown.
Always going to be Malcolm Brown.
All right. So, real quick, Broderick, good deal, bad deal?
Bad? Question mark.
All right. That's not how the game works. Eldad, good deal, bad deal?
Stupid.
All right. So, good. We're in agreement. All right. So, let's move on to a more impressive deal. The Tennessee Titans give Clowney $12 million plus. I'm guessing pluses and incentives for a 1-year prove-it deal in Tennessee. And obviously an opportunity to cash in later in 2021. I think Derrick Henry left some money on the table so they could go get some guys like this. I think this, yes, I think, and I'll let Eldad tell you the analogy because it's actually spot on. This is a good move for Tennessee. I think it's $5 million less than what Cleveland was going to give him. So, I mean, call it a steal, I guess. Problem is, I think Tennessee runs a 3-4. If I'm not mistaken, unless they switch their defense up. But if they run a 3-4, Clowney's not really a 3-4 defensive end. And he's also not, I think he did play the outside linebacker position when he was with the Texans. So I think he did play it, but his best play was when I think they switched to a 4-3 and he put his hand in the dirt opposite J.J. Watt. So it'd be interesting to see where he plays. They already have Harold, though, who's a really good rush outside linebacker. You throw him in there. You have what's his name? They have Farrell, right? They have Farrell, former Clemson defensive end.
No, he was on the
Colin
Raiders.
Farrell, yeah, he's on the Raiders.
Oh, they have another guy. Can't think of his name though.
They have Jeffrey Simmons, the Mississippi State guy.
They had Jeffrey Simmons. So it'll be interesting to see what they have plans for Clowney, but I think they got him on the cheap. Prove it deal, a guy who can either go for 14 or, again, he was underperformed and most likely will give you 6. Eldad, what's the analogy you told me about?
Yeah, so the analogy is that Jadeveon Clowney is just the NFL's Andrew Wiggins, where comes in with a ton of hype, does just enough to where you're like, man, I gotta give him money. He's a top guy, but the production doesn't really match up with the reputation.
And they're just athletically gifted. They're like how you want to build a NBA player or NFL player, like is what their body type is. Yeah.
But the deal itself, I don't know if the Titans, I kind of feel like the Titans are going to fall off a little bit this year. I don't see Tannehill being as efficient as he was last year. And I mean, it's hard to say Derrick Henry's going to slow down, but they did lose Jack Conklin. The line's a bit worse than it was last year.
They drafted Wilson.
Yeah, but how often do like these rookie linemen come in and just really play well?
Depends on what position. Tackle's a little hard, which I think is what he's going to play.
Yeah.
It's really the guards that come in, guards and
The
centers.
guards come in and just you plug them in.
Yeah,
The tackles
takes a little. You got to adjust to the speed and think about it. Again, you're either going against 3-4 outside linebackers, or you're going out or getting against 4-3 defensive ends. So you're really getting variety of different types of skilled players. And I don't know.
But also for Clowney, I feel like he left money on the table. Weren't the Browns offering him like a long-term contract for like 18 or 17 mil a year?
I don't know how much it was, but I think we were like in and out trying to get him just because we've had a bunch of injuries on our defense during all of training camp. So we've been in and out, like, should we get him? Should we not? I'm kind of happy we didn't because we would have signed him to a long-term deal, and I'm not sure he's going to be that productive for a long-term span. Like, I think it's a great deal for Tennessee, just getting him for a year, prove it deal, and then they'll see. But, yeah, maybe he just liked the because with our injuries on our defensive side, maybe he was like, maybe I should go to Tennessee. Like they've got a better defensive plan over there, and
they got
we've had safeties go down, we've had linebackers go down, and I mean, it's not looking too great in our defense.
Hey, Tennessee has a really good squad. Their defense has a lot of talent on all levels, linebacker core, and secondary. They looks like they love their head coach. They really have bought into that system. And in Cleveland, no offense, Broderick, it's a little uncertainty. It seems like every year. it seems like
it's always been like that.
Yeah. So it's like
this is the most certain I felt, and it's still uncertain.
But the idea of pairing Clowney with a guy like Myles Garrett, it could have been special.
Myles Garrett is with us for the foreseeable future, so
it could have been special. It could have been. It could have been what he had in his best years when he was with JJ. So and Myles is way more of a pass rusher than JJ is. JJ is that 3-4 defensive end, kind of do it all guy. But Myles is your more stereotypical speed rusher defensive end who's going to get to the quarterback, take his helmet off, rip it off, and smack him with it. All right, let's move on. All right, real quick, Broderick, good deal, bad deal?
Yeah, I mean, there's no risk in it. I'd say good deal. But shout out to the Saints for trying to finesse the entire system.
Yeah, real quick. Eldad, can you elaborate on what the Saints apparently tried to do?
So the report was that they were in talks with the team that I saw mentioned was the Browns. So the Browns would sign him to like a 1 year, like $17 million deal. And then the Saints would trade a second and a player for Clowney. So basically the Browns would be spending $17 million on a second rounder. They'd pay his signing bonus, I think. And then the Saints would take the rest of it. So, yeah, it was the Browns essentially buying a pick. So the NFL doesn't allow that.
Damn, I would have liked an extra pick. You just put some money on the books for a year, and then you're free, and you get a pick from. I would have loved that.
Well, and they did trade for my boy Harrison, and it was funny. The Pat McAfee show was like, "Who the hell is this Harrison guy?" And they're like, "He's the starting safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars." And they were like, "Well, they literally are taking, like, you literally are shipping every, like, if is it Chark? If Chark's still there, I'm impressed." Like,
do we know a single starter besides Minshew and Chark?
Eldad probably does.
I don't think I can name any starters on.
Still there?
Didi's there.
I don't know.
He is. Well, no, and who's the linebacker? Miles Jack.
Oh, Miles Jack is good.
Yeah, he's still somehow there.
Yeah,
and Joe Schobert's there. Now that I think about it.
Did he leave Cleveland to go there?
Browns legend.
Yeah,
that's so sad. All right, so let's move on. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed. Well, I guess first reported. The Dolphins tried to trade Josh Rosen. Nobody was going to trade for him. So they cut Josh Rosen. And then they have Josh Rosen has chosen to stay in the glorious Sunshine State of Florida. And he signs with the Tampa Bay future Super Bowl winners, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to their practice squad. Practice squad, not their full-time roster. What do we think? You do, Josh, who I think have burned by the NFL, by teams, by organizations. I don't know if it's his fault, but I really do think he's been dealt a bad hand. Do we think Tampa Bay? I assume he will get to talk to Tom Brady a little bit, right? I assume. Do we think this is a good spot for him to learn from the GOAT? And do we think this could, after Tom Brady's done in 2 years, whatever, 2 to 3 years, I think his deal is, do we think that gives Josh a chance to compete at the quarterback position for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after learning from Tom Brady? I'll go to Broderick first on this one. What do we think? Josh Rosen with Tampa Bay.
Is it me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good, I guess. I don't think Rosen's a very good quarterback.
You
I
don't
mean,
you don't think that he's
maybe
been
he can turn it around with Tom Brady there, but I mean, this is probably best case for him. He learns for 3 years, and hopefully he can get it done. But maybe Bruce Arians has some brewing down there that Josh Rosen likes, and if Tom Brady can teach him for 2 or 3 years, and then he can come in and be somewhat productive, I think that's best case for him.
well.
I mean, he's bounced around so much to where it's hard to believe in him.
And tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. Was Bruce Arians the one that drafted him in Arizona? Right? Good stuff. Eldad, give me your
I don't know
your
what you just
thoughts.
said.
No idea what you said.
Eldad, you're up. You're going. Thoughts on the signing? Yes.
Okay. Sick. But yeah, I mean, it's the best scenario he could have landed in. Learns from Brady, learns under Bruce Arians. Hopefully, I mean, the talent's there. Talent's still there. Hopefully, develops a little more. I mean, I feel like we feel the same way about Josh Rosen. He's been put in 2 awful situations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, between the Cardinals and the Dolphins, he literally couldn't have been put in worse situations. And I don't know. His career might have been ruined by that. I would have liked to have seen him end up on decent teams.
Yeah.
See how he developed. But, I mean, this is a good spot. I think he can still, at the very least, he should be a backup that sticks around in the NFL for a long time. But
Agreed.
if he doesn't develop there, then there is no development, I guess.
Well, and can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Wasn't Bruce Arians the one that drafted him in Arizona?
No, I think it was after the year Bruce Arians retired, right? Because they had one coach in between Arians and Kingsbury, and they gave him 1 year, to Josh Rosen here. And then they fired him. It was what was his name?
He was a defensive guy.
Yeah, defensive guy.
I can't think of his name. All right.
Steve Wilkes.
That guy came
So that name just means
biggest blink ever. That guy came and went. He saw, did not conquer, and left. I mean,
him and Josh Rosen were just in and out the door.
damn. All right. So let's move on to this signing. And this one's very interesting to me. Josh McCown. So he stays on with Philly, but he gets to live in Texas and make $12,000 a week just to stay home. That's incredible. I want his job so bad. This man has made way more money in his late 30s, early 40s than he probably made his entire career. What's your thoughts, Eldad, on Josh McCown is basically a babysitter, the most expensive babysitter of all time?
Yeah, this whole this expansion of the practice squad to be applicable to these veterans. I mean, I don't know why more backups wouldn't take this kind of deal.
Oh my God.
All he is he's just an emergency quarterback, which it is the Eagles, so he probably will have to play a game this year. But I mean, that's just the ultimate deal. I can't. He's a genius.
Yeah.
He's made so much money off of that 1 year.
Yeah.
With the Bears. He went where he played so unbelievably out of his mind, and then boom.
It's incredible.
It's backup bag.
It's insane. Broderick.
Yeah, Eagles are like, here's $12,000. We might need you down the road.
We might. It's not even a guarantee. And they have Jalen. It's not even like he is their backup quarterback. He's literally their third string because they have Nate Setfield, I think, still in Philly. So he's literally
not even third string. It's just kind of like
they have him
worst
listed
case you come in and play.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's like, hey, we'll throw you some money. We need a QB. Just show up. and try to win a game. We don't even need you to win a game. We just need you to show up.
Literally, we just need you to be there. It's not even like just lace the old sneakers up and come up to Philly. Maybe.
Just hand the ball off, maybe make some play action plays, and let the defense win us this game.
No, it
Don't
is.
get hurt.
So I think we all agree, great deal for Josh McCown, right? Like,
Oh yeah, Josh McCown is the ultimate winner this weekend. I think.
He's on the practice squad, and he's not even practicing.
yeah.
So good.
So wait, if you're a player that got cut off of Philadelphia, and you see this shit, how upset are you? How mad? You're willing to give your entire everything up just to be in Philly, to be on the practice squad, and you see that some dude lives in Texas and he's making $12,000. I'd be upset.
What's weird is couldn't they just sign him like during the season if they really needed him? Why
Yeah.
do you need to sign him now?
They wanted that ultimate insurance.
They really have no faith in Wentz staying healthy. That's what that says. They have no faith in it. All right.
Yep.
Let's move on to two all-pro type players that will be seeing the field way more. Cameron Hayward signs a 4-year, $71.4 million to stay in Pittsburgh. Now, I think we were talking about Cameron Hayward a little bit ago, where I was like, I feel like this guy's like 35. I feel like he's 35. He's been in the league forever. He screams Steelers football to me. So I guess, and I think it's actually a good deal for him, considering how old is he? Do we know, Cameron?
No, off the top of my head.
Not
I've
top-
heard his name around the AFC North way too long.
31.
He's 31. So he's a 31 defensive tackle that gets a 4-year deal. I think that's very impressive. Now, maybe the Steelers are one of these organizations that take care of their own. They've always taken care of their own. But I feel like, and I have to see the guaranteed numbers on this deal, but for him to get 70, total of 75, it says right here. I mean, yeah, right here. Jeremy Fowler reported yearly average for Hayward is the highest for a defense player over 30 in NFL history. Very impressive. So I don't know if this is more of a legacy deal, but what it has to say is the Steelers are definitely in win now mode versus win later. They are trying their hardest to get Big Ben one more championship, and they had the chance to do it, but will they do it? I don't know. The AFC North right now is in a battle. So,
Fight.
Eldad, let's go to you first. Thoughts on this great deal for Cameron? Looks like it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think Hayward did a great job signing this contract. I mean, it's definitely part like Steelers legacy, taking care of their own, but it also does show that they're very much in a win now mode, trying to maximize, I don't know, like one more year of Big Ben, maybe two. Because I feel like he's wanted to retire for like the past 4 years, and just something's not letting him do it.
I think he's wanted to quit so bad.
But I guess they're just in win now mode, which, I mean, considering that division is kind of tough, but you got to do it for Ben.
Yeah. And their defense, and you expect that this whole team's going to be healthy and full, no off the field distractions officially. So, that defense was stout. They just needed an offense that could play to their abilities.
More than 10.
Yeah. Duck Hodges, whatever his freaking name is. I think that's a cartoon character. Broderick.
Happy Duck.
Thoughts on Cameron Hayward? I know you probably hate him, but
I don't like it. I want the Steelers to suck from now into eternity. I don't like the Steelers. Not one bit. Hate them. Big Ben needs to retire. Everyone that's good on their team needs to go elsewhere. Get them out of the division.
dude,
I hope they have great careers outside the city of Pittsburgh.
I've been saying the Steelers should trade Minkah Fitzpatrick and 6 first-round picks to Cleveland for years. I've been thinking that.
I don't like it. I don't want to give up 6 first-round picks for one player.
No, the Steelers send 6 future first-round draft picks and Minka to the Steelers.
I thought you were saying, the Browns would trade 6 first-round picks for Minka. I'm like, so we're trading 6 like great caliber players for one.
Y'all drafted Justin Gilbert. Trust me.
Okay, that was like 8 years ago.
Actually, it was 6. All right, let's move on to the last deal. Keenan Allen signs a 4-year, $80 million contract. I think this is a really good deal. I think it becomes the second highest paid wide receiver. The only thing I have question is, now their defensive side of the ball is legit, but you really don't know who's throwing to him. You assume it's going to be Herbert, but Tyrod probably is going to have the starting position and give a year for Herbert to learn. I guess you lock him up for Herbert to throw to the next few years, but it is still kind of like, do you have your guy? Because if you don't, you're probably going to have to tank to get your guy. And then you're just wasting 4 years of Keenan Allen, who's probably in his prime right now. Broderick, thoughts? Give me your quick thoughts on Keenan Allen.
I think he's an underrated receiver. Maybe shouldn't be paid, like you said, second highest.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very good, but he's late 20s, early 30s, right?
He should be late 20s. I think he's like 28, 29.
I don't think the Chargers are any place to contend, so maybe this is just kind of a thank you for what you've done deal. But yeah, Keenan Allen, great receiver, but I don't understand where the Chargers' heads are at right now, unless they feel very confident in the team they have.
Yeah, so he's 28.
I mean, I guess he still has, 3 more very productive years?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so pretty much the length of the contract, he most likely will be.
Now that you're saying that, I feel like the contract looks better. I thought he was like 29 turning 30 this year, but if he's 28, then he's still got some good years ahead of him. But maybe they feel very good about Justin Herbert, so they're like, well, let's pay Keenan so he's around for Herbert for a couple of years. But second highest paid receiver. I mean, there's a good handful of receivers better than him. I mean,
somebody's going to break this anyway.
Yeah.
In like
they're just going to be broken every year by different receivers.
Yeah. Eldad.
Yeah, 20 a year is more than I would have done. I would have gone maybe 15, 16. I mean, 20 is just he's a great receiver, but I don't know if he's really a game-changing receiver. Like, he's a really good number 1.5, but I've never been like, wow, Keenan really won that game for them tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say good deal if Herbert pans out in year 2. Then you lock him up for 3 more years and you're good to go. But other than that, if they don't have their quarterback, then it's silly to waste their money on a 20-year wide receiver who's going to be 30 in 2 years. All right, that is our show of X and O's with Evan and Bros. Thank you all for being here. Check us out on the tubes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Take us out, T. Thank you all for being here.